I hope you guys enjoyed that one. Man, I love the Star Wars Crawl creator. That thing is so fun. Hello, everybody. Welcome, Arvanauts, to a special bonus Christmas Eve stream. I hope you guys are enjoying it and are looking forward to a little bit of fun bonus action on Christmas Eve. First of all, Merry Christmas to everybody. I hope you all had a enjoyable Christmas Eve thus far. If you do not celebrate, I hope that you didn't find all the Christmas Eve Christmas preparations to be too irritating. And yes, this is a special stream because I'm going to be playing a little bit of Star Wars: The Old Republic, which I played in the past, and never gave up on completely. It's just I can only play so much of an MMO at one time. And thought I would play some more of while we chatted about The Last Jedi, which I just got a chance to see this morning. I saw it today with my wife, and I do have some opinions. I also have some opinions about the interesting way in which people have absorbed this movie in both positive and negative fashions. It's sort of interesting to me to see the amount of passion on both sides of this debate, which I found myself getting involved with a little bit even on Twitter today. So I'm actually looking forward to seeing some of that as well. Before I do that, though, you guys know the way to support the stream. Please retweet the stream with !CTT. Please tell everyone you know about it that way. Please make sure to follow the channel if you have not done so already. Please make sure to support the channel by checking out the Steam group with !Steam group. Of course, the YouTube with !ArvTube. I would love to see any or all of you check out the Discord, of course, because the Discord is where we hang out and do a lot of stuff as well. So please consider checking out the Discord with that. Check out the shop where you can get a little bit of merchandise as well with !Arv shop. And of course, we've got the two financial ways to support the channel. One of which is the Patreon. That's !ArvTreon, which is currently sitting at 400. And last but certainly not least, we have the sub button, which is right above the window. That is all discounted, so you should definitely make sure to check that because, as I said, we've got a lot of stuff going on with the sub button. We got a lot of subs yesterday from gift subs during the Christmas Eve stream. So, during the Christmas Carol stream. So we had a lot of stuff going on. Yes, I am going to be streaming a little bit tomorrow with the family doing some holiday stuff. I don't know if I'll do a super long stream. I'm certainly not doing a long one tonight. I don't expect to be streaming for a very long time. I just wanted to basically get on and talk a little bit about the movie. And then tomorrow, we'll be doing some holiday event with my family. That, again, I don't know when that's going to be. It might be during the day. So if people can't make it, I understand. Because tomorrow evening I may be busy doing some stuff, actually. We'll see. And then, of course, I'll be back for my normal set of streams on Tuesday. So we will see. Yes, so that is the schedule. It is holiday season, of course, so people, I hope, will understand that the streams will be a little bit more erratic than normal. But thank you for everyone who's here. I don't expect to have a huge turnout tonight because this is a spoiler-fill stream. So if you have not seen The Last Jedi and you are planning to see it, then may I recommend that you're certainly welcome to stop by and just keep the volume muted or something of that type. But I am going to be talking about spoilers for the movie as we go forward. So yeah, definitely consider that. So I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to get rid of this, and I'm going to turn on that. There we go. Hi, everybody. Good to see you all. Hope everyone is doing well. And yes, Merry Christmas Eve to everybody. So before I get started, I do want to ask, wow, that's really bright. I got to turn down the webcam gain. Give me 1 second, guys. I do want to ask before I get started, whether or not, okay. I do want to ask how many people I assume everyone who's in here has seen this right now. You haven't seen The Last Jedi? Sorry, man. I put big spoiler tags all over the place. I did say in every conceivable place that there were spoilers. I said spoiler. I said spoilers in the title. I said spoilers in the scroll. I said spoilers on Twitter. I said spoilers everywhere. I said spoilers in the Steam group announcement. So I did say it everywhere. I just want you all to know that I have officially and completely told everyone about spoilers. So there be spoilers, and that's the deal with that. But how many people, just by a show of hands, I know we don't have a ton of people in here. As I said, I don't expect a ton of people. How many people did see it? How many people have seen The Last Jedi? I hope it's more than just me. Is it more than just me? You saw it today? Oh, cool, Jasper. You've seen it twice. What's up, Wheels? I haven't seen you in ages, man. How you doing, dude? You've seen it twice. Okay, cool. So Dragon hasn't seen it yet. Well, you know what, Dragon? I mean, the funny thing is that I actually had some of it spoiled for me even before I went because I just don't care that much about spoilers. Like, spoilers have never bothered me that much. So, yeah, I don't... but I know for some people, obviously, it does have a major effect. So it doesn't... Spoilers don't really bother me. But they do bother some people, so I wanted to do it, so... You haven't seen it, but since Will saw it twice, it makes it okay. Well, if you were the type of person who is bothered by spoilers, then obviously you're going to have to mute much of this stream because we're going to be talking about spoilers of the movie. If you have, however, seen it and don't care about if you haven't seen it and don't care about spoilers, then great. And if you have seen it, obviously you're welcome to stick around as well. But I'm just letting you know that The Last Jedi will have spoilers incoming. So if you have to bail out, then that's the deal. Okay, cool. All right, that sounds good, Dragon. You already watched someone give a spoiler review? Oh, okay, Boljor. Oh, your jerk colleagues already spoiled it for you? Aw, dude. Well, I mean, listen, yeah. Like I say, there's going to be quite a bit of spoilers in this, but that's the, that's kind of the way that we're going to discuss it. So, let's switch over to Star Wars: The Old Republic here. There's my guy. And let's get into it, folks. Okay. So, and I have no idea how far we're going to get into this, to be honest with you, because I have no recollection of what the hell I was doing. I think I played this over a year ago, so I do not remember what's going on. Hunt for the Emperor. Master Tolbrog has gathered a team of the galaxy's most powerful Jedi. Their goal, find the Emperor's hidden fortress, infiltrate its defenses, capture the Emperor, bring him back to the Jedi Order. On the war-torn planet of Almora, Jedi Ardan searches for a prototype cloaking device that can expose... I don't even know what the rest of that said. So, we'll see. I hope... We'll see what happens as I go through. Man, I don't remember anything how to play this game. Alright, how do you... Okay, I remember that part. How do I do the flourish, though? I gotta see how I do the flourish. How do I do the flourish? Where's my keyboard at? I gotta figure out how I do the flourish. Okay, that's sound. User interface. None of that matters. Key bindings, that's what I'm looking for. Okay, so just give me a second, guys. I just have to find the, I just have to find the thing that I'm looking for. Man, I wish I could search for this. Cam crashing me in-game. Okay, so let me just figure this out and then we'll get started chatting about it. Toggle. Yeah, I don't care about that. Jump, sit, move down. Oh, Control Z, okay. No. It's not Control Z. You lie, game. You lie like a rug. Oh, maybe... Is it Mount Flourish? Really? Mount Flourish. Seriously? Seriously? Target self, target center. Okay, whatever. What I really want is flourish. I want to know how to flourish. I want to know how to flourish. Screenshot. Interface, toggle ability, toggle friends, toggle. Chat, camera. Are you serious? Do you not have... Can I not freaking flourish anymore? Oh, man. Yeah, that's what I thought, but it's not working, though, Zeraphus. It said mount flourish. It's not working. Alt-Z. That's not it. Control Z. Control Z. Alt Z. Alt Z. Damn it. Alright. I have no idea where I'm going, by the way. I have no idea what's happening. I don't remember anything. I don't recall. I don't even know how to summon my mount. How do I do any of this? It's been such a long time. I think it might be this. Haha, cool. I remembered something. Okay, let's see. We got defensive line, factory battle zone, Balmoran Resistance Hospital. Is that the thing that's my main... Alright, let's see. Mission log. Lives in the balance. That's my class mission. Okay, so I need to go there. Cool. You let your Jedi training go to waste. Yes. Okay, so here are my thoughts, guys, about here are my thoughts about Last Jedi. First of all, I think it's important to remember, just sort of put my cards out on the table, that I consider myself to be a big I'm a pretty big Star Wars fan, but not a ridiculous over-the-top fan. They're not happy. Oh no, they're not happy. I think I fell too far. Good start. Outstanding. Good beginning. Whoopsie! Oh man, this is the after effects of carbon encasing? Yes, that is very true. Let's try that again. Good times, good times. It really is a pretty crappy, like, it really is, like... Oh man, alright, fine, I'll defeat you. I don't remember how to do any of this, though. Okay. Sorry, let me just finish taking care of these guys. So, I consider myself to be... Hello? There we go. So I consider myself to be a pretty big Star Wars fan, but not a just crazy over-the-top, you know, fan, basically. That's sort of how I imagine myself. And accordingly, I think that I am a character... I think I'm a person who... I don't necessarily have everything at stake with one of these movies, which may have something to do with some of the different effects that I have. But I saw that this movie... This is actually an example of a movie that I have never had less of an idea how I was going to feel about a movie going into it. Like, generally with movies, I have a basic sense... How the flip do I get down there? I have a basic sense, generally with movies, of how I'm going to interpret it or feel about it. But it just... I had no idea. And the reason was because the opinions were so absolutely radically different. Like, just radically different. Not even close. Half the people are just like, this is the most amazing movie. I mean, I had people, Amal El-Motar, who plays with me in my Tolkien campaign, just flat out was like, this is such the great, I can't get over how amazing this is. Oh my god, this is so special. I'm so excited, blah, 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 blah. Like, just on and on about how amazing the movie was. And then I was running into people who were like, this movie is a freaking disaster. It is horrific. It is an embarrassment. It is a, like, it ruins Star Wars. It just, there we go. Oh no, I missed it. Come on. I missed it. So yeah. It was just one of those things where I had no read at all on what the movie was going to be like. And so, given all that, I sort of didn't know what to expect, and I was looking forward to seeing how people were, how I was going to, you know, be able to react to it. So here's basically what I think. On the good side of things, Well, I guess yeah, let me start with the things that I thought I really liked. So first of all, quick, too long, didn't read overall summary. I liked this movie quite a bit. I thought it was excellent. I thought it was well put together. I thought it was well directed. I thought it was excellent. I did not think it was genius. I didn't think it was brilliant. And I frankly don't really understand, and I said this on Twitter, the hatred for the movie or this is the greatest movie I've ever seen. I don't get it. Because to me, it just didn't seem like it didn't seem like there was that much justifying that kind of reaction. It was fine. No, I shouldn't say that. It was more than fine. It was very good. But it wasn't like, oh my God, right? And it also was not this super spectacular, just like, hold on a second, I'm gonna put that up. Force my. It also was not this super spectacular, like, disaster. So I didn't really understand the reaction. And I really tried to analyze why people were reacting the way that it did. And so I'm going to have to come back to that later on because I don't know, because there's something there and I have a couple theories as to why this is the way it is. But, so, first of all, things that I liked. I think that in terms of acting, this is one of the best acted Star Wars movies I have ever seen. It is, now that is not to say, by the way, that it is one of the best acted movies I've ever seen, because let's be honest, Star Wars and acting have not always gone together in the same sentence, okay? That said, though, I do think that this was a very well-acted movie, and especially, if I can say, by Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill was tremendous. Like Mark Hamill was just straight up, wow, okay, you just tipped me for a lot of damage. I'm going to continue to run. Mark Hamill was tremendous. I thought this is the best I've ever seen him. I think it's the role of his career. I thought he was tremendous. He was just excellent. And part of it is that the role feels to me to be almost kind of maybe set up, I might almost say, to be part of that mix. But having said that, he just was like, he was just great. This is great. There's no other way to put it. So I really liked him a lot. And I thought that since so much of the movie is about him or relating to him or connected to him, I thought that he was equal to the task. Hamill was great. I also thought that maybe that's it. I have no idea where I'm supposed to go here. Sorry. So I thought he was great. I also thought that the new folks also were well acted for the most part. I thought that Finn was good, although Finn actually is part of one of my beefs with this movie, but I'll come back to that later on. What? It must just be there, and I must just be missing it somehow, I guess. Because I'm not understanding why I can't get other places here. So yeah, but Finn was good for when he was allowed to act. Rose, who's the new character, was good. I thought that, who do you call it? I thought Poe was good. I didn't think that Holdo was as good as some people thought. And I'll talk more about why I think that's so kind of later on. But in general terms, I was I thought the acting was excellent. And as I say, just as a whole ensemble sort of performance, I thought that it was better acted than a lot of previous Star Wars that I had seen. So with that in mind, so I thought the acting was great. The music, as usual, was tremendous. There are just like a lot of amazing musical sequences. And actually, I guess I'm just going to go back because I don't understand what I'm looking at. I don't... Where am I going? Sorry, give me just 1 second. I really want to figure out where the hell I'm going. I'm going there? Why am I going there? Alright, well, anyway. So. This is going to suck getting back there, but okay. So, music was excellent.
You're fine.
crap. So that was my opinion about that. I thought that they did well with that, but really confused about how this fighting is working. So I thought they did well with that, and I was really in general terms like really impressed with how they handled stuff with the music. Visuals were gorgeous. In a lot of ways, this may be the best the cinematography on this may be the best of any Star Wars I've ever seen. Also, I thought they had a really good grasp of how to make these things operate and how to make them work in a way that made sense. And I thought that I just really was impressed with how they handled the visuals. Just beautiful, beautiful stuff. What's up, Dino? So there was that as well. So all of that was excellent. I also thought that the message of the movie, for the most part, was different and unusual and striking and in some ways long overdue. Because essentially the meaning of the movie, right, the theme of the movie essentially overall, is that failure is a necessary component of existence. And frankly, you're going to fail a lot. There are going to be tons of failures. You're going to make mistakes all the time. But rather than looking at those failures as the end of all things or things which need to be redeemed... Yes, Dino, I'm talking about the new movie. How many places can I put the title that says Big Spoilerific? Dino, you guys gotta read the title, man. It says big spoiler tags for the one. I love you, Dino. I hope you come back soon, man. But yes, I'm talking about the Last Jedi. I put big spoiler tags everywhere about how I'm talking about the movie. So yes. What's up, Demiser? So yeah, so anyway, this is going to drive me up a wall. Do not fall off that elevator. Go here. Good, thank you. Okay, see you, Dino. It was too long. It ran off the screen. Mm-hmm. Okay. So yeah. There we go. Lovely. All right, let me see where I'm going. Lives in the balance. Okay, I feel like that's taking me right back to where I just came from, but whatever. So, yeah. I really wish I could understand where I'm supposed to go, because I'm just not seeing it. Damn it. You're gonna be joking me. How do I... What? I'm never gonna survive down there. I'm going to fall to my death. Oh good, I didn't quite die. Good, awesome. Make sure that I'm going in the right place. Are you joking? Where is this place that I'm trying to go? Man alive. Well, there's very little way to put... I don't know. I don't really know any other way to put it, so... To Gorinth Cavern. I have no idea how I'm supposed to get to that place. I seriously have no idea. Alright, I'm just gonna go past here and whatever. And get back to the lift somehow, and...
You're fine.
I can't do that with fighting. Okay. So yeah. So that was the thing. They haven't invented GBS yet. I guess that's true. This is a galaxy a long time ago. So anyway, so I thought they did very well with that. So I really loved the message of the movie about failure. I like the message that that you could be coming from nothing, that not everything has to be about Skywalker. I thought that was cool. I really appreciated what they had to say about just a lot of the messages in the movie I was all about. Like I liked a lot of those messages. Now, having said that, Let me see if there's anything else I want to mention, because as I say, I really, in general, liked this movie. For sweep, okay. I really have to remember how to do any of this. It's been a long time since I played this game. Yeah. Use that, good, okay. So I liked all of that. And then last, I liked I liked a lot of the sort of the lines, the humor, as opposed to what I heard from some people, which was like, oh, you know, the humor in this is obvious, and it's silly, and everybody gets it, and everybody knows what the humor is, and why would you even care about the humor, blah, 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 blah. As opposed to that, my view... As opposed to that, my view was that the humor was fine. I thought it was very Star Warsy. Star Wars has never been particularly subtle about its humor, quite frankly. But I thought that Star Wars, you know, that this movie, for that, given that sort of fact, the fact that it's Star Wars has never been good about that sort of thing, I thought Star Wars handled this very well. So I thought there was a lot of very funny humor, and I thought it was no problem with any of it. I thought it was great. So there's the deal with that. Now, so those are the things that I liked. Having said all that, I thought everything involving Rey and Luke and all the stuff at the Jedi Temple was awesome. Like, seriously, everything about it was great. I had no complaints about any of it. It was all enjoyable. I thought it was all really super cool. I thought a lot of the, you know, the stuff at the Jedi Temple, I thought Luke's sort of understanding of who he was, the way that he had changed, the sort of qualities, the things that sort of drove him. The movie's focus on how a lot of what Luke thinks is a failure is basically Luke's limiting perception, and how, you know, also, frankly, Kylo Ren has a misunderstanding in some ways and a perception. Like, you can see how everyone's perception works the way it does, and none of them are totally right in terms of what they think actually happened, but none of them are wrong either. Like, you can see it in each of these cases. So I liked all of that. Okay. Let me go away that. So I liked all of that. Part of the problem, though... I'm not fighting anymore. Oh, it's because I don't know what happened to her. Part of the problem, though... Okay. Part of the problem that I had was that the Jedi stuff was so compelling that, quite frankly, I found a lot of the non-Jedi stuff to not be not nearly as interesting. And I'll give you one example of this. To me, the entire Finn Rose thing is a waste. Like, the whole thing where they go off to the casino and they do that whole business, to me, is an utter waste. That doesn't advance the plot in the least. There's really no reason for it to exist. It doesn't do anything to improve, like, our understanding of the characters. It doesn't really do anything for character arc. I have trouble understanding why Rose, who's just this random mechanic, is allowed to go with Finn in the first place. I didn't... That whole thing to me was a waste of time. It's cool, and it would have been great as, like, its own thing. Like, if you released it as a YouTube video, it would have been like, oh, that's really cool. Or if you... But in terms of... To me, it slowed the movie down. The pacing was silly. And it's a whole hell of a lot of work to just get this point across about how... we don't understand the sort of class structures the way that we ought to. I'm willing to buy that as an argument. Don't get me wrong. I'm willing to accept that's I'm willing to buy into the idea that that's an argument. I just don't see that as important enough for me to want to spend my time, wasting walking along with them. So it was, as you say, Jasper, it just was unnecessary. Now, my wife disagreed with that, by the way. My wife thought that the casino thing made a lot of sense. I just thought it was a waste of time. And to me, a lot of that was an unnecessary thing, taking away from the really awesome part, which was all the Luke and the Jedi stuff part. The second thing and the whole subplot could have easily been fixed, frankly, by just getting rid of it. You don't need it, And I think it contributed to a larger issue I had with the film, which is that I thought Finn has been, to my mind, basically tragically wasted now in 2 films. Like, John Boyega I like anyway as an actor, but Finn has been a waste. I think there is so much more that could have been done with Finn, and so far Finn has basically been there to, like, supplement. You know, like, obviously Rey needs to be the focus, and Rey was great, by the way. I love Rey. Daisy Ridley is great. Again, no problem with any of that. And the Kylo Ren, and I do think they did a good job with Kylo Ren, even though I still don't love Adam Driver as an actor, but nonetheless, I thought they handled that. But I just don't see. I just feel Finn has been wasted. And it seems to me like Finn is constantly being used as supporting backup for everybody else. You know? Like, there is no reason whatsoever that Finn should have spent much of the end battle of the first movie being knocked out while Rey had to do everything herself. I understand why they did it. But in a way, it's like we have all this excitement about a whole new world and a new sort of progressive environment and more diversity within the cast, and then we will promptly knock him out and leave him there and just have him do his thing, going on with stuff as well, you know? Right. What's up, Peace and Laughter? So I thought he was a waste. I think he's been wasted so far. Now, is this redeemable? Yeah. I think you could redeem him, but I think at the moment, Finn has just been a colossal waste of time. And I think that's a shame, because I thought he was one of the more interesting characters. Well, while we're on the topic of wasted characters, can someone explain to me why Phasma even exists? What the hell was the point of Phasma? I mean, literally, like, Phasma shows up, and you're like, oh, cool, stormtrooper, like, uber person with, like, a silver thing, and then they get into a fight, and then she just what is that? Like, again, to me, classically wasted character. And there's so much more that could have been done, other than just, like, wasting Phasma on, like, look, she's a cool super silver stormtrooper. Like, what is that? And again, it reminds me of what happened with Darth Maul. Now, I've heard people talk about the idea that, well, Darth Maul gets a whole big stuff in Rebels and blah, 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 blah. But here's the thing, guys. You cannot rely, especially now that Disney has removed most of the extended universe and declared it all non-canon. You can't rely on Rebels. You can't rely on Clone Wars. You can't rely on even the books. You can't rely on non-movie stuff to compensate for story that isn't in the movies. It's very much like the problem I have with Destiny, which is Destiny, the first game, buries all of its lore in these cards that you have to go out of the game and onto some website to read. No. It's got to be in the game, and that's the end of it. Like, you can't put it outside and send people everywhere else. So, to me, Darth Maul was wasted because you never saw anything about him in the films. Boba Fett was a little bit, although they did try to do more with the prequels with him, but yes, I'd say he's a waste. General Grievous was just so silly that I could just never take him seriously in the first place, but yeah, I mean, I'd be willing to buy that. Snoke is kind of a waste too. I don't have as much of a problem with Snoke because I feel like Snoke was just, I'm the big bad guy emperor dude, but in this movie he becomes, like, the mystery is removed from him entirely, and it just, I don't know. I wasn't sort of buying into him. So Phasma was kind of a waste. And then the last person that I felt was wasted here, or I shouldn't say wasted, I just didn't think the character existed, is Holdo. I'm sorry, I like Laura Dern as much as the next person. I have no idea why Holdo's lines cannot be given, why Holdo's parts couldn't have been given to Leia. Literally everything that Holdo does, Leia could have done. Everything Holdo does, up to and including the sacrifice that happens at the end of this film, you know, that she does, which is a great moment, by the way. That moment with the light speed and that she cuts through the Snoke's ship, that's really well filmed, really powerful, great stuff. But there's no reason that this random person that you've just introduced has to be the one who does it. And I felt the problem was that the movie often had a little trouble with pacing, in that the movie, it's too long, I think. I think the movie needed to be cut down by about a half hour. And if I look, the casino was 25 minutes of it. So cut the casino scene and you've got your movie. But anyway, so whatever the reason may be, introducing a character, giving me no background on her at all. And I'm not talking about background like I need to know her full backstory. I mean, giving me no reason to connect to her, giving me no reason to think anything of her except, wow, this is a jerk who hates Poe, although Poe is also a jerk. So it was kind of cool to see his comeuppance. But Holdo's a jerk. I don't know why she's not just telling them this plan that she must obviously have. Holdo's a jerk, and she's a jerk, and oh, I guess she's not a jerk after all. I just didn't I didn't see the point of her. No, she wasn't in the last movie. They literally introduced her. She's like, Vice Admiral this person. I'm like, who? Okay. And then in comes Laura Dern looking like she just stepped off the set of the Hunger Games with the purple hair. And I'm like, and then is like, okay, here's the thing. And I've seen so many, but she's fierce and strong. I'm like, yes. And you know who else is fierce and strong? Leia. And you know who we would have cared a lot more about to make this sacrifice? Leia. And this is a point that I'm very sorry to have to make, because my wife was really moved by the fact that, Carrie Fisher passed away. In real life, Carrie Fisher and her mother were dealing with abuse history. So it was sort of very sad in a lot of ways, very bittersweet the way the movie handled some of this stuff. And because of that, Carrie Fisher is not coming back for movie 3, except for the parts that they may have filmed of her. They're not going to CG they're not going to CG the absolute entire role of Leia. They're just not. So that was your opportunity. I didn't have a problem with the whole being of her being expelled out of the cockpit and then she does the force pull. I didn't have any problem with that. She is force sensitive. It's been talked about before that there is precedent for this, that there is precedent for people being able to survive in the vacuum of space, Jedi being able to survive in the vacuum of space and pull themselves into the ship. This is not, no one's ever done this before. Yes, they have. I didn't have any problem with that. I had a problem with the fact that they then basically have her going, and it's like, she survived into the next movie for what purpose now? When you had to increase this totally other useless character, Holdo, to do all the things that Leia could have done instead. So I could see that, Demiser. I could see that. Yeah, that's right, Beljora. The idea that they immediately blow up in space is not true. Now, obviously they can't survive there for long, but I'm just saying, in general principles, no. So I really was just not. I really found the Holdo thing just to be irritating. She wasn't a big enough deal for it to really matter, but there was just a part of me that was like, what? What is the need for this? So, be that as it may. So there's that. And then I think the only other thing I was going to say that was a negative was that I felt, I'm trying to remember the other problem that I had with it. It's not so much plot continuities. Yeah, exactly. You see, that Nonstop has got it exactly right. If you really like the Laura Dern Holdo character, by the way, I didn't dislike the way Dern played her, I just didn't know anything about her. And I felt like the movie was really pushing it so that I was supposed to feel something when she died, and I'm like, I don't, because I don't know her. I don't care about this. Like when Luke gave himself to the Force, that's a big, powerful, moving moment, because you know about Luke. But you can't introduce somebody in the first 10 minutes of the second movie, kill her off before the last half hour of the last movie, and expect me to care. You haven't built her up. I don't know anything about it. So to me, if you really like her as much as you say that you do, all you need to do is have Leia be the one who takes the cruiser, which totally fits her character, by the way. Have Leia be the one that takes the cruiser, sends it into the Snoke ship. You take care of the Leia situation. It's a great send-off for Carrie Fisher. It's a powerful, heroic moment for her. And Laura Dern's character, Holdo, who's supposed to be about surviving and about preserving and about not being a hero, but just having the world survive, right? All that stuff about how it's just about letting the world survive. That can be what Laura Dern's character does, and then you get to see her in movie 3. And then if you want to get rid of her in movie 3, then we might care, right? If Holdo is a badass and she remains a badass, then by the time we get to the middle of movie 3, if you kill her off, we'll be like, oh man, I really like that character. That's powerful. But there's nothing powerful about eliminating a character that you've introduced an hour and 15 minutes before when you have a perfectly serviceable, top-quality character that people have cared about for literally 4 decades. This is the way you do it, instead of just this strange, here she is on the Millennium Falcon again. So I didn't get that. So I felt like Holdo was kind of a waste, and I felt like there were moments where these sort of plot moments didn't work the way that I think they could have managed them. Sometimes I think the wrong people were killed off at the wrong spots, basically, which was kind of a concern. Now to go back to the good stuff. Having said all of this, I got into a disagreement today, or got into a discussion with Twitter on people with Twitter, which I'll talk about in a little bit. I got into a discussion with people about, they were like, well, I watched that movie, and all these things happened, and at the end, we're in exactly the same place that we were after New Hope. So, like, nothing has changed at all. I could not disagree any more than I do. First of all, we have a lot of the characters that have moved on. And Rey, although Rey is basically going to be the new Luke, presumably, Rey is not Luke. She doesn't have his wisdom, she doesn't have his experience, she doesn't have his training, she doesn't have his jadedness. She's not Luke, okay? So she's not the same thing. You don't have anyone else that's around that can be with them, right? It's not about that. And the thing that I think was the biggest thing, which I think sort of is major issue here, is that they are in a completely different psychological space at the end of this movie for the following reason. Luke makes this big thing up during the movie about how, you know, he failed, about how the Jedi, you know, it's the Jedi's hubris that continues to cause these problems, that they're the ones who bring the Sith about, that blah, 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 blah. And then Yoda, and I thought that whole sequence, thank God they brought Yoda back as a puppet. He was a Force ghost, but I mean, they didn't CG him. That was Yoda the puppet done by Frank Oz, man. And Frank Oz with Yoda does a tremendous job, does a tremendous job in rendering stuff to Luke. And what Yoda tells him, which is this idea that failure is your greatest teacher, and that you don't want to pretend that it doesn't exist or be sort of stopped by it, but to remember that it existed and make your decisions in light of your failures. Not, I'm going to opt out of the world, which is what Luke did, right? Luke basically ran away and went to this island because of how terrible a person he thought he was, but rather, you are doing this because you know that you failed, and because of your failures, you can actually do something moving forward. There were a couple of really powerful things that I think that thematically were important. That was one of them. Another one is the line that Rose says to Finn when she says, "We're going to win by saving those we love rather than fighting those we hate." That's genius, so good. It's smart, it's logical, it has a good progression to it. And that mission and that whole concept of it, and you see it even in Poe's arc. Poe's the one who says, no, don't, pull off, don't attack. And Finn is in a different place, by the way. So Finn is interestingly, Finn started out by wanting to run and save his friend Rey. And by the time we get to the end of the movie, Finn is actually willing to sacrifice himself. Poe, on the other hand, does stupid, incredibly dumb, stuff which gets a whole bunch of people killed. And at the end of the movie, Poe is the one who says, hey, we got to think twice about this. So their separate arcs were really great. And I loved everything about the way that they designed those arcs. And the message, which is that failure itself becomes the powerful source of your moving forward, was wonderful. So that stuff I thought was tremendous. Like, it was great. And I really liked those messages. I really liked a lot of the thematic quality of it. I liked the idea of failure. I liked the idea of, saving those you love rather than fighting those you hate. I thought that, and I also thought that some of the things that Luke decided to do at the end, I thought that was brilliant. I heard a lot of people talking about the idea there's no lightsaber fighting, and he doesn't, what Luke does is one of the most badass Force moments you're ever going to see. Ever. Thank you for the follow, by the way, Cat Wizard. Thank you so much. That is the coolest Force thing you will ever see. And by the way, I don't know if you guys saw it. I picked up on it already because you could tell that, like, his feet were not making the same footsteps in the salt, right, that the other characters had been doing. So you could tell there was something about that. So it was really like, I thought the Force Ghost thing was really well handled. It plays totally into Kylo Ren's obsession with him. So I loved all of that. I thought that the way they handled that was really, really great. I also thought that the way they did with stuff with the slave children and everything was cool. The thing at the very end was really powerful. The slave kids go out. The whole thing about the ring, that's fine. But to me, the coolest part of that is the broom. And I thought, when I saw it, it only took like 2 seconds. And I asked my wife, and she's like, oh, I didn't notice that. And when I looked on, when the kid comes out, he actually holds out his hand, and the broom comes to his hand, like force pull broom. That was really cool. That's subtle. It's smart. Yeah. He had Anakin's lightsaber. There were, in hindsight, there were a lot of them. But all of that I thought was really good filmmaking. So I really liked the end of that film as well. So in general, my general overall take is I thought Last Jedi was an excellent movie. I thought that it was a better movie than a Star Wars movie, if that makes sense. Like, I thought it was good science fiction in general, science fantasy. And I thought that as a Star Wars movie, it was good, but there were some issues with continuity here and there and stuff like that I noticed. So I thought it was an excellent movie. I didn't think it was brilliant. I don't think it's better than The Empire Strikes Back. I'm sorry. I still think Empire Strikes Back is the best of the Star Wars films in terms of writing, pacing, plot, character development, all that stuff. I would probably put this... if I were to rank them, I'd probably go Empire Strikes Back, New Hope, Return of the Jedi, which I still think is an underrated movie. I think people just hated it because of Ewoks, and I thought that was a mistake. So that... then I would probably put this movie probably 4, and then I would put Force Awakens 5. I would put Return of the Sith 6, and then God knows I guess Phantom Menace would be 7, and then this terrible god awful Clone Wars movie would be 8. So that's what I would say. Empire Strikes Back is the best in my view, and I don't think that this unseated that. Which leads me to my point that I want to make about the vitriol. Because I actually got into a discussion with people on Twitter today about it, and I basically tweeted, I said, I don't really understand. I just saw Last Jedi, I thought it was excellent. I don't think it's worlds, altering, and I don't really understand why there is so much, and there's always going to be division about movies, right? And certainly about Star Wars movies. But there wasn't this much division about Force Awakens. That movie was well received, and then some people had some issues with it that popped up over time. But there was not one of these things where, other than the right-wing garbage about how dare they put a diverse group of people into our white man only film, that stuff I dismiss completely. I don't care about those people. Those people can go back and watch New Hope until the day goes long, and then they can watch their Hitler tapes. I'm sorry, I have no patience for we can't allow blacks, women, in a Asians, LGBTQ. I don't want to hear anything about how we can't allow those people in there into a galaxy in which all of those things that I just mentioned, especially not the LGBTQ as much, but definitely the racial stuff, is going to be way more prominent than straight white males. I'm just here to tell you. It's just not the case. Okay? Straight white males are not going to be the default in the universe. And so to make them the default and be really angry when they bring other people in is stupid. And I just want to make this point up front. Any casting you make is a choice. When you cast mostly white people and straight white people in your movie, that's a choice. And it's not that that's the default, and casting a black, an Asian, and so forth, that's somehow not default, okay? That is a choice when you choose to make those things. So that stuff I just dismiss completely. Forget about that. That's all nonsense and garbage. I'll come back to that question, Shadowner. I have not seen Rogue One. I've seen 5 minutes of it. My wife has actually seen more of Rogue One. She was watching it, and then she has to still see the last half hour. But I honestly, I know I have to see it at some point, but I'm not looking forward to it because it's super dark and depressing and everyone dies, and I'm not really looking forward to that. So, I don't know. Anyway, but whatever. I know I'm going to have to see it at some point. But in any case, so I really, I dismiss all that stuff out of hand. So leaving that stuff aside, I said that I didn't really understand the vitriol towards the movie from some quarters, leaving aside the right-wing garbage, and I didn't understand the adoration of it either. I don't understand I want posters of it in my room, I want to watch nothing but this movie ever, I've seen it 10 times already. It was good. It was very good. It's just not world-altering to me. It's not that big a deal. It's fine. It's more than fine. It's really good, but it's not that amazing. And I was having a hard time figuring it out. And I actually went and I said, well, the sort of equivalent for me, because I consider myself a steady Star Wars fan, definitely a Star Wars fan, but not a oh my God, this is the only thing I care about. Probably, in fact, Star Trek might be a touch higher in the hierarchy than Star Wars, maybe, although I'd have to think about that seriously. I really do like Star Wars a lot, and I love the Star Wars games, and I've read a lot of the books, and so I do like Star Wars, but just not the. So I really like the Star Wars sort of mythos and so forth. And I like science fantasy anyway. But that said, I wouldn't consider myself an overwhelming fanboy, okay? So that's sort of that's the mindset that I have. Having said that, I decided, well, what would happen if Lord of the Rings had been like this? Because for me, that's as close as I'm going to get. Like, Hobbit and Lord of the Rings are extremely personally important to me. They basically turned me into a reader. They made me into a reader. They basically directed my path as a writer. They had a big impact on the career that I chose, on the things that I care about. You know, like, Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit are really, really important for me. Like, really big and important for me. And so when I went in to see the Peter Jackson films, the Lord of the Rings trilogy, I was a little nervous because I didn't want him to ruin it. He didn't. I thought he did a great job with him. But that said, in The Two Towers, there are lots of what I view as missteps. And there's one in particular, the characterization of Faramir, is a terrible misstep, in my opinion. Like, just dreadful. It's a complete misunderstanding of Faramir as a character. And it's redeemed at the end of it, but the whole like Faramir arc within the Two Towers is completely unnecessary because of the way they set it up. That said, I didn't sit there and go, I will never watch a Lord of the Rings movie again. I can't believe they did this to my childhood. The Hobbit movies are not very good in my opinion. Like, first of all, there shouldn't be 3 of them. There should be 2 at most. A lot of the stuff is nonsensical. Fighting like in floating barrels down a river. What the hell is this? The Hobbit movie was just... The Hobbit movies were, in my opinion, not very good. I didn't like them, and, you know, they were barely okay. And yet, I didn't have this feeling like, I will never go see a Peter Jackson movie again. I'm going to go jump onto Twitter and talk about how terrible these movies are, blah, 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 blah. So I just didn't see... I don't have that much kind of at stake in something like this, I guess, because I never felt the urge to do that. So I didn't understand why people had the urge to do this. And what my theory, I think, is that there is something about these films and these movies that have made people tap into something where when you question their liking or disliking of this particular sequence of movies, you're basically, in their mind, questioning them, right? You're basically saying you have problems in this, this, and this because you love the movie or because you hate the movie. Like, literally during the Twitter discussion today, at one point, one of the people that I was having this exchange with said, you know, I just feel like I wasted my time. I watched 3 hours of a movie where nothing happened and we're back in the same place. And I'm like, I really disagree. I feel like, you know, I actually feel like we did end up in a very different psychological place. And he says, well, that's just how I felt. You know, you can like the movie if you like, but that's just those are facts because that's what was happening on the screen. And I'm like, that's not what was happening on the screen, though. Like, literally, it is not true that there were just a bunch of explosions and nothing happened. Like, that's literally not true. Like, by the end of that movie, Luke is gone. And he's gone for a good reason. I mean, he's gone from this world. And he's gone for a good reason. And he's gone after doing a badass aspect of the Force. And he has embraced his destiny while still remaining true to himself. And Rey has understood who she has to be now in a different way than she was before. And, I mean, come on. Like, the idea that... And so that's what I mean. They viewed this, in some ways, as an absolute. As a, no, like, the fact is, this is what happened. And I'm like, that is literally not fact. That is literally your opinion, which you have literally classified as fact. Because it is not a fact that nothing happens in that movie. It's just not. And so it struck me that there is something about these movies that have got people into their corners where not only do they view opinion as fact, but they also view the overall take on the movie as being essentially hostile to them. So I saw today on Twitter literally these 2 reactions. First, the reaction of someone saying, I'm just really tired of being told that I'm not allowed to like this, that I'm not allowed to dislike the movie, and that if I dislike it, I'm clearly a Nazi. Like, that was actually a quote. I'm really tired of hearing that. And I'm like, what? Where have you seen this? And then I also saw a Twitter thing which said, I have literally been told that to like this movie makes me into a terrible human being. I'm so tired of that. And I'm like, where have you seen these things? I haven't seen any of those things at all. Yeah, exactly, Thorg. But it's is really, it's really interesting because I just think that it demonstrates something which the movie also demonstrates. In the movie, there is that whole thing about Luke lighting his lightsaber over Kylo at the time Ben Solo and what he did to him, right? Luke's original version has Ben pulling the house down on him, right? The second version, which is Kylo Ren's version, is where Luke actually threatened him, and you could see in Luke's face he was about to take the lightsaber and put him down, right? And then Luke's, what we are apparently meant to believe is the truth, is that he lit the lightsaber, and then he was about to unlight the lightsaber when Ben woke up, and then he took the lightsaber and tried to attack Luke. So it's multiple different perspectives, right, on the same event. All of those things could be true. In all cases, they agree there was a lightsaber clash. They agree that a house fell down upon them. They agree that Luke had this weird look in his face. But in each case, the reason for it and the details matter. So in a way, they're all right and they're all wrong, which I think is really interesting within the movie. Outside of the movie, we get the same thing. We have some, and I mean, I'm not a person who subscribes to both sides are right or wrong on a regular basis. This is a case, though, where I can see the argument that some people make that this was doing this, this, and this, and I can see the other side as well. What I don't think I can see is the idea that this movie is either a towering work of genius or a staggering piece of filth. Like, those things to me are just not true. And I don't think that's just a matter of opinion. I think that's borne out by the things that we measure filmmaking by. I do think there were problems with pacing. I do think there were problems with plot areas that were unnecessary. I do think there were problems with unnecessary characters and the wrong characters being killed off. But I also think that the film was brilliant visually. I thought the film had wonderful messages in a lot of it. I thought the film had great acting in a lot of places. I thought the film had some, really interesting sort of set piece, moments in the film. I thought the film did a good job. I thought it was a good film. Not an unbelievable stop the presses film, and certainly not a this is garbage film. Like, just no way. Yeah, exactly, Thorg. And that's the thing, it picks up on Kenobi's thing. The stories were true from a certain point of view. It picks up on that beautifully. The idea that you're going to come out of this realizing that we can't just complete the same pattern of the Jedi defeat the Sith are dead, but they're not really dead, they come back and they wipe out the Jedi, and then the Jedi have to wipe out the Sith, and it's like, to use your Mass Effect example, it's like fighting the Reapers, and we just do the same thing over and over and over again. That's basically what it is, right? Like, you follow the same pattern. This is the first movie, in movie 8, where I feel like there's a chance that we may now be able to break out of that pattern. And I think that's pretty cool. And I don't think it's too late in the franchise of 9, in the 9-story arc, to do that. I don't think it's unreasonable to say by the time we get to movie 8, how do we break out of the pattern? I don't think that's unreasonable. So the amount of vitriol really interested me, and I just think that extremism has something to do with how much these people have taken the movies to heart to such a degree that they actually see internet mobs coming from them. And obviously both of those things can't be true. Like, you can't have the internet 95% against your point of view in liking the movie and also have an internet mob 95% of which doesn't want you to like the movie. Like, I don't think both of those things cannot exist in the same space. So clearly we are perceiving different kinds of audiences and reacting in different kinds of ways. So, So I just was really surprised by the extremism of the reaction, I guess, the extremity of the reaction. And, it's interesting to see how this stuff is going to be done. I certainly think that, Rian Johnson basically acquitted himself well here. I think he had a complicated task. I think he did it pretty well. I think it sets up for a very probably longer than we would hope last of the trilogy movie, episode 9. And I think that episode 9 is also going to have to tie a lot of things together. And I am a little worried that episode 9 is going to be all Rogue One-y again. And I like the Rogue One concept. I just don't want all my Star Wars movies to be Rogue One. I don't want them to be everyone dies and it's all depressing and blah, 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 blah. Like, I don't want it all to be Grey Jedi all the time. But having some of that in those moments, sure. I think that's reasonable. So I liked it quite a bit. I didn't adore it with every fiber of my being. I thought people who did were a little crazy, and I certainly thought the people who thought that it was the worst thing that they'd ever seen were crazy. I felt like the visuals, the acting, the music, the themes were all excellent. Great set pieces. I thought some of the pacing, some of the entire casino subplot, and the sort of waste of some of the characters, Holdo, Finn, and Phasma to a degree, all of those were problematic. But in general, that was cool. You want all of your Star Wars movies to be Rogue One? Yeah, I mean, everyone dying, yeah. Yeah, also, how old is Chewbacca, by the way? I didn't think about this. How old is Chewbacca?
Mechanized travel is for official business only. Be safe out there.
Like, he's got to be... Chewbacca's got to be super old, right? Yeah, I also thought the Porgs were cool. You know, I was really worried they were going to overdo that, but they really didn't. I thought they handled the Porgs really well, actually. The Porgs were cute, and they weren't on there for long, and the Porgs were fine. And the whole, like, Luke... Oh, that was the other thing. The overreaction that people had to the Luke, like, drinking the milk, that is so not a big deal. You would have thought that people were like, oh, you turn Luke into the blah, blah, blah. I'm like, it's called nourishment, okay? Could you please grow up? They're called udders, okay, on a creature. But you look at them and go, oh my god, those must be like human breasts, and therefore he's been emasculated. Please don't say that while also drinking a glass of cow's milk or goat's milk, because if you think that that comes from your grocery store, I have some unfortunate news for you, okay? Like, come on. What's up, Black Belt? Oh, he's several hundred years? Is he really? Do I have 4 of these? All right, hang on a second. All right, Trailblazer. Aha, okay. Yeah, right, Beljora? Yeah, it's a really powerful idea. Wookiees live to be 800, 600, 800. Exactly. See, that's the thing, Beljora. It just kills me. Like, we are so still. It's amazing how, especially in the States, we are still so sexually prudish. It's amazing. Like, could you please get over it? like really. First of all, they're not breasts, they're udders. Secondly, if they were breasts, they're breasts, okay? They can be, in some contexts, they can be sexual. In some contexts, they can be nutritional. Let's please stop overreacting. The idea that somehow Luke is emasculated because he dares to drink the equivalent of cow's milk is just beyond absurd. Please. So tiresome. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay, so lives in the balance is down there. All right. Let's hope I can actually make it there. Yeah, so the thing about that, Rusty Texan, and by the way, hi everybody. We are having a discussion of Last Jedi while I am trying to remember how to play Star Wars: The Old Republic, which I last played over a year ago. If you guys enjoy what you were seeing and hearing, please make sure to follow the stream. We normally don't do big spoiler movie chats, but normally we don't have a movie like this that we're doing. So yeah, Rusty Texan, you know, I have to say I don't know that I agree that they were a complete waste. I think what I would say is that it was a missed opportunity to give Leia the send-off that she deserved. Leia is a character that I think would have been better served, quite frankly, in basically if you reversed what happens to Leia and Holdo, I think the movie would have worked brilliantly. In light of what happened to her. Now, obviously, I think what they wanted to do was they wanted to have Han be the focus of the first movie in terms of passing the torch, Luke be the focus of the second movie in terms of passing the torch, and then Leia be the focus of the third in terms of passing the torch. And I think that's fine, and I think that's reasonable, and I have no problem with any of that. But obviously, Carrie Fisher sadly passed away, and so life happens. So I don't really ding them for that. I think it's reasonable. However, by the time this comes out, they have a basic sense of how they could address it. And I thought that the best way to handle it would have been to basically give her Holdo's fate. Oh god, I went off the rails. Okay. Because Holdo, at the end there, right? Holdo's fate is... essentially she sacrifices herself on behalf of the resistance, and what she does is what they could have done. Like that's exactly what Leia could have done. So if they had Leia survive, yeah, that's it, Thorg. And by the way, Thorg, remind me to talk about the casino thing that you said with the class warfare, because I do want to talk about that in a second. So, because I do think that's important, so I want to address that issue. Yes, peace and laughter, although you do get the impression that she was there for a couple months. Because remember, the thing is that when Rey goes there, like that doesn't take 18 hours. Like, Rey is there and gets there before the whole thing starts happening. It's a little unclear in the movie, but Rey basically doesn't have stuff happen to her in the same way that... okay, here we go. So... yeah, so I thought that they could have handled, I thought that they could have managed Leia by giving her Holdo's reaction. So, oh yeah, sure, Rusty, sure. That was really it. I mean, like, honestly, that really is all. If they had just, die, please. There we go. So yeah, so if they had figured that out, honestly, and if they had replaced it in the way that I suggested, I think they would have been a lot better off. I agree with that too, Shadowner. It is true that Ren, although I will say this, what he says is unconfirmed, but there is an argument to be made that usually when he's talking to Rey, he's telling the truth. He's telling the truth for his own purposes, but he's usually telling the truth. So, let's see. Right, exactly, Jasper. I think that's what they were trying to do. I mean, you know, also the other thing, not to put too fine a point on it, but quite frankly, Carrie Fisher was never a spectacular actress. She kind of lost a step. I gotta be honest with you, like, her performance in this film was fine. And of course the fact that what happened to her in real life was aware of it. So you know, you're watching Leia. You're clearly watching Leia. But but I thought she struggled a little bit. I mean, not enough that it sort of took away from the movie, but especially when you put it in comparison to Mark Hamill, because Mark Hamill was just brilliant. As I said, for those of you who missed this, Mark Hamill was super, super good in this. This is the best I've ever seen him do. I would even put the Joker voiceovers and everything else. This is spectacular, how good he is in this movie. And in comparison, Leia is just not there entirely. So that's the only thing. Like, I felt Harrison Ford clearly has not lost a step, as you saw in Force Awakens. And in this one, I thought that Luke was just dynamite. But I felt that the new guys, I felt that the new folks, Finn and Poe was good, and I thought that Holdo, except that I felt like I didn't understand why we were being forced to like her or not like her, but whatever. But Laura Dern was good, and I thought obviously Daisy Ridley was excellent. I thought that, the character who plays Rose, who I've already forgotten, who I shouldn't have forgotten, but anyway, she was good. So I thought the acting was quite good, but Carrie Fisher was a little weak, I thought. Oh, yeah, she was better. She was better than in Force Awakens, but still not, I don't know. To me, she still struggled a little bit. But yes, I would agree that she was better in this than she was in Force Awakens.
The Jedi bought us some time. Get our wounded to the secure area. Move it! I'm the chief medic. Just call me Doc. You and your gorgeous friend cleared a nice path, but we can't leave. Got a whole nest of colicoids massing to attack.
Does every horn dog in these games from BioWare have to have, like, the soul patch and the mustache going on? Was it Kelly Marie Tron? Yes, it is official. Merry Christmas, everybody. Merry Christmas. If you do not celebrate, then simply Merry Spirit of Christmas to you. Happy Hanukkah, Happy Festivus, Happy Kwanzaa. But yeah, Merry Christmas, everyone. Oh, yes. Del Toro... See, here's the thing. I think Del Toro could maybe work depending on what they do with him in movie 3. The problem is you have to wait a couple of years to get to movie 3, and I don't know how this movie's going to work until then. Fortunately, because it's Star Wars and because it's Disney, the next movie will be made. So it's not like you have to worry, oh, we're never going to see it. Like, we will see it. But what they do with Del Toro's character is going to be interesting, because I felt like he kind of got wasted a little bit. I want to go back to the casino point. You're right, Thorg, that the class-oriented stuff I did think mattered. I thought that was good. And I thought the scene where she says, look closer, and she has him look with the binoculars, and as she looks closer, she can see, that they're, like, mistreating the animals and all that. All that stuff I thought was good. Happy Life Day. Right, exactly, Dragon, exactly. I'll come back to that, Adeline. So I thought, I liked that, Thorg. I just felt like it was too ancillary to the main plot. Like, they get there, they see this guy who's supposed to be a great code breaker, then they forget about him, they get arrested, they never bother to get him again, they just get this dude who's in a jail cell, and they're like, okay, sounds good, like, what? So again, the casino subplot I just really didn't like. I liked the concept of the subplot. I mean, at least I liked what they could have done with it. What they actually did with it, to me, was a waste. It was just, here's this film, here's this DLC break that goes off to the side that has nothing to do with the rest of the film, and, So, on Kylo's character, maybe Adeline, I have to say that I actually didn't have a problem with Kylo's development. I thought Kylo's development was well done. The problem was I don't think they did enough in explaining why Snoke found him. I don't need to know about Snoke's background. We didn't get that much about Emperor Palpatine's background in the movies. And finding out that he was Chancellor, blah, 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 and all this stuff later on didn't help make him more threatening, frankly. He was more threatening when I was like, oh my God, who is this guy? But knowing how it is that he found Vader and turned Vader made him powerful. It would have helped if I knew. I read someone saying that basically it was like, so Kylo is freaked out by what Luke chooses to do. I thought that development was great. So then he leaves, and then the comment was, is Snoke like some creepy dude hanging out at the 7-Eleven? Like, is Snoke basically Roy Moore, just like hanging out in a mall and waiting to pick up like Kylo, like from Dark Jediville? Like, that whole thing I thought was kind of a waste in terms of the way these things set up. So it wasn't that I cared about backstory for Snoke. It was that I wanted to know how the hell Snoke got Kylo. I think Kylo was an interesting character, potentially. He was super emo and annoying in the first movie, but I thought that he developed some here. I saw more coming out of here. Frankly, I was more annoyed by Admiral Hux than I was by... I mean, Hux was... The flip... I don't know. I still have trouble taking the First Order seriously. I kind of feel like it's just an elaborate... like very well-funded cosplay group. Like really the First Order just feels like, hey, remember when the Empire was cool? We're going to pretend to do that. And then they take it a little too far and you end up with the First Order. Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, the idea that we need to have some extensive background for Snoke is nonsense. But I do want to know how Snoke found Kylo and how that worked. That I think would have been interesting. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and again, if you're going to make a 2.5-hour movie, it would be really nice if you could cut out the unnecessary casino part and either keep the movie to a nice clean 2 hours and, 5 minutes or so, and that would have been really nicely paced and together, or if you really want to go that long, that's what you could do. Like, let's get a little more about Kylo and the Jedi Force users. Or let's get a little bit more about Luke and Rey's training, But what you don't want is this completely pointless subplot that I mean, because that's the point, Thorg, right? The idea about class structure and everything else. That couldn't have been handled in some other way without having to send them off on this pointless, like, wild goose chase, 25 minutes, of the film wasted, like, wandering off there, Yeah. Yeah, well, yes, true. And that's the thing. If there were more focus on what the First Order was doing also, like, other than being just elaborate cosplay guys, that would help. I think I would disagree a little bit with that decoy because he does need a whole bunch of training. He starts it with Kenobi. In the second movie, he has to go to Dagobah to continue that training, and he's there for apparently a good period of time. And then he's not really still a Jedi until he actually faces down Vader and does what he does in Return of the Jedi. So basically, his training to becoming a full Jedi takes him at least 2.5 movies. Here, the training is done in a much more limited space of time. Yeah, that would have been interesting at a line, but I guess part of that then people would have been like, why are you shoehorning Lando into this plot? I mean, maybe, but... Yeah, presumably. I mean, he also constructs his lightsaber, right? In between 5 and 6, I think, so.
What are these collocoids?
Things that eat you. I've got dozens of wounded here. Hope you're not one of those junior Jedi.
Do we have to save him too?
I'll head for the secure area and stabilize casualties. Here they come!
Welp. Hey, what's up? Suck it. Take a kick. Phantom kick. Hi. Agree, Thorg. Agree. Empire was just one failure after the other. What I liked about this, if anything, is that they went out of their way to sort of thematically make it make sense, so I was down on that score.
The tunnels stay open. You can collapse them with your Jedi tricks, right?
Sure I can. Thank you for the host, Digital DM. Which, sorry, I missed some of this stuff. Yep, exactly. Oh, man. Yoda even says that to him. He says, the cave, remember your failure at the cave, you know? Thank you so much for the host, Digital DM. I appreciate it, man. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Dave, member of the Masters of the Dungeon. Thank you, thank you. I still would argue that the best saber duel, just as a pure spectacle saber duel, is the Phantom Menace saber duel between Qui-Gon and... oh, wait. I have to fight you again? Okay, obviously I can't... I gotta get out of this area. I thought it was... That's unfortunate. Alright, well... Hi. Okay.
There, good as new.
There we go. Collapsing the tunnels. Rolling through the digger. Yeah, the thing about that with Rey, though, I have to say, you know, and I know you're not saying this specifically, but I have to say the whole she's a Mary Sue argument is like complete nonsense. Because, look, Luke arrives, okay, at the base, some farm boy from Tatooine, and literally shows up and, oh crap. Crap. Damn it. I locked that by accident. He literally shows up, and they're like, sure, go ahead and fly the most important mission that we're ever going to have right now, even though we have no idea who you are, and you're from some desert planet. But sure, go ahead and fly, you know, the X-Wing, and, like, go off on the thing. Like, what? Like, the idea that, you know, if you want to talk about a Mary Sue, he is way, way more of a Mary Sue. Way more. Than anything we could ever imagine in terms of, like, actual, you know, than stuff that we get from Rey. I mean, I'm sorry. So yeah, I'm just not... Hi. Please don't attack my apprentice. Hi. Yeah, but that has nothing to do with Luke. I mean, the fact that Luke was even able to survive in the first place is the sort of upset. You know, really, there's no way that Luke should have survived under any circumstances. Like, Luke got very, very lucky that he survived, and the only way that he did it, presumably, was because of the Force. So that's the problem there. Oh, that's why I was like, what the flip? Yes, yes, yes. I love that speech, though. Like I say, everything involving, like, Rey and Luke, I thought was great. My problem was really about the whole Finn, you know, nonsense. And because I felt like he's overused, because I felt like he was underused, and, you know, reasons that I've already said. Her midichlorian count is over 9,000. Yep. Right, exactly, exactly. Well, yeah, he was an expert flyer, but I'm just saying, like, everything he did, you know, Demiser, not that he was unbelievable. I'm just saying that if you're going to call Rey a Mary Sue, Luke is way more of a Mary Sue than she would be. So, yeah, but as you know, but listen, plot consistency in Star Wars to me has never been a thing. So, right, and that fits with evil too, what evil usually does.
Hey, look at that. We are alive. Nice work.
A lot of wounded here. You're the only doctor?
Honey, I do the work of 10 medics, and that's on a bad day. I don't know what genius picked a colicoid breeding ground for our medical facility, but we need to evacuate quick. Problem is, my critical patients are too fragile to move, and the Empire stole my trauma kits.
I won't let the Empire endanger your people's lives. How can I get what you need?
Our scouts say the Imperials sent my trauma kits to their frontline troops on the plains nearby. The depots will be heavily guarded, but I'm sure you'll figure something out. Just hurry. These people don't have much time.
Have to recover the trauma kits. Oh, man. Yeah, but that's I don't agree with you there, Demiser. Rey, they go out of their way to demonstrate that Rey has basically got to survive, including by fighting with her bow staff, for much of her life because her parents abandoned her. In fact, she has more of a difficult upbringing, if anything, than Luke does. I don't agree with you there. I don't think that's borne out. As far as flying things off the ground or not off the ground, I don't know what to say about that. There may be a forced connection there, but as far as her fighting, I don't agree with you there. That's something which I think is very well explained. And Kylo is not a trained Sith. And by the way, dealing with that whole thing in Force Awakens is completely reasonable. I mean, let's keep in mind, guys, he literally gets... can I fast travel to this? No, I guess not. He literally gets shot in the stomach and spends much of his battle fighting off a bunch of people when he's trying to recover from severe loss of blood. And he's not super well trained at that point. Oh, playing as Jedi Snake, yeah. Hey, what's up, Fire Snake? I don't know that I would agree that he's terribly acted. I'm not sure that I buy that. I liked him. I liked him a lot more in The Last Jedi than I did in Force Awakens. Force Awakens, I just found him insufferable. I thought he was better in this one. I still don't love Adam Driver as an actor for this. I still don't fully buy into him, but... I thought, by the way, that, you know, Andy Serkis is the one doing Snoke, and I thought that Snoke's opening sequence with Kylo in this one was pretty awesome, where he's just like, take that ridiculous thing off. Like, you know, yelling them about the mask. I thought that was pretty cool. And, you know, and that's the thing, right? He's all raw power. I mean, he's just raw power. He is not training. He's not experience. He's just power, just untamed. And that has an effect, quite obviously.
Reminder, mechanized travel is for official business only. Be safe out there.
Yeah. Right. And it would be interesting if, like, again, his fascination with Vader would be interesting to sort of tease out as to why Vader mattered that much to him. Because we get the idea as to why he's so freaked out by Luke, but why the darkness, why he tapped into the darkness in the first place, I think was interesting. Interesting. Yeah. Jar Jar Binks. I actually have a friend. Okay, it's in there. I have a friend, Brian Young, who was a quite a Star Wars expert, I would say, who for some unknown reason, and I mean, I do not know, for some unknown reason, likes to defend. Maybe it's just because he likes defending all of. Maybe he just likes all of Jar Jar Binks, like all Star Wars, so that's why. But basically what he does is he claims that Jar Jar Binks is a perfectly legitimate character. And I'm like, in the words of Insult the Triumph, or Insult the Comic Dog, whatever it is, Triumph the Insult Comic Dog, it is a wonderful character for me to poop on. Because he's hot garbage. Like, Jar Jar Binks is a terrible character. Yes, I've heard that theory. It's hard for me not to believe, like, that theory wasn't just trolling, you know? Like, there must have been some trolling at that point. I feel like there had to have been. Speaking of trolling, hi.
You're fine.
Kick this turret. Did he really decoy? See, the thing, and that's the thing, a lot of people are like, oh, but you know, Jar Jar, there was other, you know, like, terrible, like, silly, stupid characters in the original Star Wars. Yeah, there was. You know the thing about that? Those original characters... Where am I recovering the troop? Those original characters did not... Those stupid characters did not have massive importance in the plot. Ooh, where's the supply cache, I think. Hello, Governor. Hi. Have a lightsaber. Nice. Okay. One more of those to get, and I can see him from here. The tragedy of Darth Jar Jar Binks the Wise. Have I seen the Empire Strikes Back revisited version? No, Midgardia, I have not, and I don't even think I know what that is. What is that? Is that like a fan re-edit on some of these? Hello, governors.
Live.
Hi. Oh. The force push, man. I love it. Okay. What do we got? It's a really good fan edit. So, can you... What does it do that makes it awesome? Oh, god damn it. To get one more of those. Most unfortunate. Oh. That's convenient. I feel like I just looted those. Alright, return to dock. I shall. I shall return to dock immediately. Battle of Endor is supposed to be commentary in real life. Huh. Well, certainly this movie had a lot of connections, I thought, to sort of modern circumstances. Especially with the class-related stuff. So you liked Force Awakens then better than Last Jedi, Firesnake? I do not agree with you that it's much less good. I would say that it is not as good as the original trilogy, but it's not an enormous gap, and I would say that it is... I agree with you that it's much better than the prequel. I would say that it's 10 times better than the prequel. The prequels, to me, are utterly useless except for Return of the Sith, and frankly, you know, Return of the Sith, although it was functional, it wasn't that great. Like, Return of the Sith was not that amazing. I heard people being like, oh, you know, but this was clearly worse than the Return of the Sith. No, it's not. No, it's not. Let's not overdo it, okay? Return of the Sith was good, was functional, was reasonable, but not brilliant.
Greetings. You are cleared for the following travel routes.
Let's go there. God, Joel. What's up, Shadowed? How you doing, man? Oh, I see what you're saying. Well, the truth is, Decoy, anytime you fight a battle on someone else's turf, they have a significant advantage because of their knowledge of the terrain. And I did think that basically the Emperor fails, to my mind, for two reasons. Number one, his arrogance means that he views power along one axis. He thinks of power only in one way. So these things like friendship and the Ewoks that nobody cares about and stuff doesn't even enter into his consciousness. And the Death Star, the original Death Star, is a microcosm of that. We don't think about protecting this one unshielded missile, you know, this one unshielded port, because who would ever do that and who cares, right? And that leads you to big problems in the line. So his hubris is a big part of what happens there. Rogue One is way better. See, now I have not seen Rogue One. I've only seen a little bit of it. I'm kind of not looking forward to it because I don't want to go through incredible depression. I don't feel like being super depressed by the movie, but I know I'm going to have to at some point. My wife has seen more of it than I have, actually. Oh, okay, that's cool though, Mingardia. Well, yeah, Beljora, I guess, but like compared to the first couple movies, like Phantom Menace is useless except for Qui-Gon and in my opinion, the best lightsaber battle in the whole like arc, in the whole epic. But otherwise, Phantom Menace is useless. Literally, Attack of the Clone Wars is just a horrifically bad movie, or whatever it is, Clone Wars, Attack of the Clones, Clone Death, whatever the hell it's called. And then Return of the Sith is somewhat functional to me. That's all, you know, very functional. Yeah, I know. It's just, oh God, I really don't feel like watching a movie where everybody dies. I gotta be honest, like, especially in 2017, which was a somewhat better year for me personally in terms of health, but for everyone in the world was a much crappier, year in a lot of ways. It was really hard for me to be like, now let me watch something that has even more darkness. Like, I just, I had a little bit of a hard time with that, so. Rouge won. So, yeah. Locked. The hell is it locked? Oh. Because you're here. Exactly, Rock God. Rock God is a combination. Honestly, if you took Return of the Sith and took out some of the silly parts, combined 1 and 2 into it, that would have been good. You could have made one prequel movie, and you would have ended up with something pretty epic. I agree, Firesnake, to a degree that might be the case, but it doesn't make me any happier to watch it happen. You know what I mean? Like, under certain circumstances, so. I can't, well, see, Eye of the Tiger, The thing is, we've basically gotten through a lot of the discussion, but there's a big spoiler tag all over my stream about this, so we are talking spoilers. So if you don't want spoilers, you're gonna have to mute or something. Sorry, man, but I put a big thing about spoilers because I don't want people to be spoiled if they don't want to be. But yeah, we're talking. This is very spoiler heavy today with Last Jedi. So yeah, just today, right? I'm not gonna do this constantly, but I made a big thing like spoilers. So yeah. So sorry, man. But yeah.
I got as many trauma kits as I could find.
The Imperials won't miss them. Our boys shoot to kill.
Apologies for being late. My detour around those Imperial forces took longer than expected.
I forgot who you are. Thank you for the follow, John Paul. Welcome to the Arbonauts. I'm relieved you're safe, although I don't remember who you are.
I was worried. Glad you're here.
You've done well saving this facility and its patients. The Resistance has already agreed to help us find the cloaking device prototype.
The super advanced gadget you're after? The Resistance can narrow down its location, but we need access to the enemy's computer network. The only connection point is at Sobrik, which is covered in Imperial forces. Troop legions, walkers, heavy bombers. Fun place.
Sounds pretty important. Why all the protection?
It's a manufacturing
Oh my God,
capital
wow,
of the
Shadow.
planet. All the best guns get made
Oh,
there.
give me a second. I'll turn it up.
I believe we can diminish the Imperial forces without firing a shot. The Empire has several
It's all over the
around
title,
Sobrik
J-Reb.
tied to other Imperial strongholds. An early warning
The
system.
I put it on Twitter,
Great.
Steam group.
When we attack, they
On
can
the thing.
summon more troops to kill us.
Yeah.
Or we make the Imperials think we're attacking their other strongholds. We'll infiltrate those comm relays, upload fake alerts, and siphon away Sobrik's defenders, leaving it vulnerable.
I doubt the Empire leaves its comm relays unguarded.
The comm relays are protected by advanced Imperial war droids. Very fast, extremely deadly. I'm no longer quick enough to defeat those war droids. But you are.
Then the Resistance can raid the Empire's computer network. We'll figure out where they've stashed that whatchamacthingy you want.
Use this datapad on the comm relays. to
Indeed,
upload
John
the
Paul.
fake
Merry
emergency
Christmas, Happy New
signals.
Year's to you as well.
I'll find a good vantage spot to watch Sobrik and keep you informed of our progress. Be careful out there.
But tell me about the scars. Okay. So we've got this. Oh, this is not as good as what I already have, man. Okay. Okay, sounds good. Good night, Rusty. Let's see. Where was this? Oh, yes, the volume. Let me adjust that. Oops. Okay, let's turn the volume up. Okay, let's turn the sound effects up. Voice volume up. And let's turn this up. There we go. There we go. Okay. Oh, the mobile doesn't show the full title? Oh. Yeah, that's true. All right, well. Okay. So let me, I'll see if I can fix that. Day 13. There we go. Okay, so now I think that should be fixed. Yeah, it's probably true. Rename your Star Wars character to spoiler. I actually, when I came in, it's been like, you know, I don't know, 18 months probably since I played this last. And when I came into this, I tried, his actual spelling has been AR''DENN, and I had to change it to AR''DANN. I'm like, they're like, since we adjusted it, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, what? Oh, also, what was this thing that you put up there, Thorg? What was this thing? Oh, the music. One of the great, I have to say, the sequence where they're flying the Millennium Falcon through the salt mine thing, and they're getting into the, you know, that music is still so good. That music has never gotten old. Like, just straight up never gotten old. That music is badass. Still to this day. So good. Okay. So, you need to create a distraction by setting off fake distress signals to trick the Imperials into moving their forces out of the area. So, I need to do that in these various places. Okay. Yeah, so now the title has been adjusted, so... That's strafing now. Yeah, I didn't see the Saturday Night Live skit where I guess they were making fun of that, but... that was a little silly. That was pretty funny too, and he's like, reach out, and she like reaches out, and he like rolls his eyes, and he's like, you feel that? She's like, yeah. Is that the Force? Yeah, that's the Force. And then he just like slaps her head. He's like, what the hell are you doing? It's pretty funny. Yeah, I really was. I really, by the way, am glad again. I know I said this before. I really am glad that they went back to the puppet thing for Yoda and not just CG all the time. Make him into a freaking ridiculous Super Ball, basically, and fighting Dooku with lightsabers and all that. It was so cool to see him the way that he was. Resolve this with lightsabers, we must.
Right. Mechanized travel is for official business only. Be safe out there.
Yes, I should be on for a holiday stream tomorrow, for a little bit of time anyway, with the family. Look at that. So cool. And then I will be on after that on Tuesday. So it just happens to be the way Christmas falls. I have a lot of days in a row here, so it's not how the Force works. My wife, when he first said the thing about, like, where's Han? And she's like, wouldn't he know that Han had died? And then he explains, like, he had shut himself off from the Force. And she's like, oh, okay. So he wouldn't. Where the hell am I? every word in that sentence you said was completely wrong. Yeah, that's good stuff. Yes, Demiser. Agreed. Agreed. That is important. But I think with Star Wars, consistency is not as... I don't want to say it's optional, but it's less of a thing. Hello, Imperial Drop Trooper.
Done.
Ooh. Look at you. Look at the big weapon on you. Have a seat. Thanks for dropping in. Go up and around, probably. Hi. What's up, X-Dog? I was subbed in the past. I'm actually not at the moment subbed. And so far, I haven't really... There might, you know, if I was going to get back into this game and play it extensively, I probably would sub again for a variety of reasons. But I actually was subbed for a while, and then I think I just let it go because I just wasn't finding enough value from it because of other things. So, yeah.
Just as I hoped, the Empire mobilized an entire armored battalion. Keep up the good work, my friend.
But yeah, I think it's cool. I had to stop playing it for a while because I was playing it on stream, and I had just played so much of it that at a certain point I was just like, I gotta give this a rest. So I figured it was actually around Christmas time 2 years ago, I think right after Force Awakens, that I did this last time. So I'm like, I should do this again. Oh, nice. Go ahead and do your fighting. Don't mind me a bit. I'm just going to run over here, and I'm going to go trigger a relay. Whoa, hey! Check you out, jerk. Alright, big guy. Pull me back to you. Alright, sounds good. Merry Christmas, Rock God. I will see you perhaps sometime tomorrow or the next day. Good to see you, man. Yeah, it's like Imperial Big Head mode. Oh, nice.
The Imperials are exceeding my expectations. Sobrik's forces have been cut by almost 2/3. Keep up the pressure.
Oh, not that way. Hello, Jedi 25th BAM. Yeah, it was a cool game. It's just, you know, there's only so much that I could play any of it, but... Last but certainly not least, you celebrate Yule.
Perfect. Sobrick's defenses have been reduced to the bare minimum. The resistance team is heading in. I think it's best if you follow and keep an eye on them. Too much is riding on this mission.
Sounds like you don't have full faith in the Resistance.
The data they're recovering is essential to find
Sorry.
be our only chance. The resistance team identified a vehicle depot as their best access point to the Imperial computer system.
Thank you for the follow, Biggie.
Transmitting the grid coordinates now. I'll continue monitoring Sobrick. If I see trouble, I'll alert you immediately. Keep our new friends safe. Over and out.
Should just be out. Used to bother my dad. If it's over, it means you're expecting you to respond to them. If it's out, then it means that you're done talking. It can't be over and out. Hello, hello. Excuse me, pardon me. Hello, Sith Apprentice. Pardon me. Hello. Hello, pardon me. Excuse me, pardon me. Oh, what's up? Excuse me, pardon me. Hey, what's up? Pardon me, excuse me. Hands up. Aha. I have arrived.
Good as new.
TIE fighter attack. Merry Christmas, Biggie. Oh, TIE fighter attack. That bump, 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 What's up, Doc?
Have you accessed the Imperial network?
Already downloaded everything. We were leaving when the Imperial medical transport landed for refueling. Avers and his men opened fire.
Almuran scum! Murderers! My men are dying. We'll never reach the med center now.
You just made my season, imp. Bet you've got some choice gear on that transport.
Greedy vermin! These soldiers were defending Balmora!
There's a doctor here. He could keep your men alive.
You just love irony, don't you?
Do you read? Colicoid nests stirred up by fighting. Waves of them headed for Sobrick's outskirts. Leave now or you'll be surrounded.
Colicoids? They'll rip us apart! Every man for himself! Move!
What's up, Kilobyte? How you doing, man?
We can't flee! Those beasts will kill us!
I don't
God.
abandon wounded men, even Imperials. Then again, being eaten wasn't on my agenda for today.
I guess we'll be eaten.
I can save these soldiers if someone keeps the colicoids off me.
You work your medical magic. I'll take on the colicoids. May the Force be with us.
If we die, at least it'll be heroic. But we're not gonna die, right?
You hear that? They're here!
Yeah, it is a concern, Boljora. Oh, hey. Oh, hi. Kick.
This planet is officially off my relaxing vacation list.
Success. We did it,
I've
Doc.
done some crazy things, but this beats them all.
That was heroic. These men owe you their lives.
Yeah, they do.
So do I.
Oh, I could force persuade him.
I want every Imperial on Balmora to know how a Jedi and a Resistance doctor saved your lives.
I'd never falsify a report, no matter how distasteful.
I could have just force
Leaving here
persuaded
would
him.
be a lot easier if there was another transport. Actually, I did see a speeder bike outside. Only seats one.
I'll find my own way out, Doc. The speeder bike is yours.
Thanks. Your pal. Your friend Warren's at these coordinates. I'll meet you there. Good luck.
All right. Rendezvous with Warren Sidoru. Yeah, exactly. I'll be taking their lives now, then. Where are we going? I'm running. Whoops. I'm still running. I'm running. Don't avoid me now. I'm wow. Someone's been through here recently. I am running now. Ignore me. I'm not a Jedi. Ignore me. I'm not a Jedi. Don't not a Jedi. No, I'm not a Jedi. Whoops. Whoopsie. Here we go. Dude, you piss me off, man.
You'll live.
Force your glory. Jerk. Don't do that again. Yeah, so it's like I'm being hurt by this dude and it's embarrassing, you know? It's like you played some ESO and you got your butt thoroughly kicked. I played some Elder Scrolls Online in the past. It's pretty good. I liked it okay. Still, I mean, I like the story in these games, but I still wish that this didn't feel as MMO-y as it feels to me. Like, I wish that they could have an MMO that really doesn't feel like an MMO. And I keep hearing everyone be like, oh, this is not like an MMO, but it is. And that's sad. Hello, Warren Sidoru.
I hear you two had quite an adventure in Sobrik. I'm impressed by your commitment to saving lives.
We make a pretty great team. We should do this more often.
Well, Firesnake, Yeah. I'm a big fan of some Secret of Mana, Final Fantasy Tactics, rather, for that. What's up, Claire Rose? Yeah, Darren Korb. No, see, I disagree with you on that, Firesnake. I disagree with you. The MMO feel, to me, has a lot of fetch quest and a lot of grind, and I don't necessarily think those things have to exist in the same space. I mean, quite frankly, the reason that I'm playing this is because I really would be preferring to play Knights of the Old Republic 3, but since this is supposed to be as close as we're going to get to Knights of the Old Republic 3, that's what I'm doing. But beyond that, yeah. Yeah. I agree with that about ESO as well. The problem with ESO is that it's less MMO-y. The problem is I don't, the lore doesn't interest me in Elder Scrolls nearly as much. So, I mean, I've played Lord of the Rings online, and I love that because it's Lord of the Rings, but, I mean, God, the grind and it's an MMO, and it just feels like that. So I feel like that there ought to be ways to make it not as fetch questy and grindy, basically. So, what's up, Strike Ninja? Doki Doki. Good grief.
Our mission isn't over. What's the next step?
This is Nicholan Cord, one of the top resistance leaders. He analyzed the data we obtained from Sobrik, found us a lead.
One of our spies was captured weeks ago, attempting to steal what might be the Empire's cloaking device project. The data revealed where she's being held.
How long has the Resistance known about the cloaking device?
Long enough. It became an object of interest for obvious reasons. We believe she's inside an Imperial Tactical Operations base. Heavily fortified,
Agreed,
protected by a
Firesnake,
regiment
yeah.
of troops.
That's where I come in.
Colonel Finley commands the Republic's 5th Expeditionary Force. He's agreed to assist our operation.
Trouble is, if that Tech Ops space crew sees my troops marching in, they'll close the blast shields. Those shut, there's no getting them open.
If the enemy seals the base, we lose our connection to the cloaking device prototype.
One of you Jedi could slip inside, disable the blast shields before they close, then the base would be ours.
We'd have to distract that Imperial regiment, create an opening.
My troops provide quite a distraction.
The Resistance must be part of this. Our spy won't talk if I'm not there.
I'll escort the Resistance. That leaves you to penetrate the base and deactivate those blast shields ahead of our arrival.
Okay.
Get your forces ready, Colonel. We leave immediately.
I can guarantee an enthusiastic response. I'll prepare my forces to move out.
Right, agreed,
That
Ghost
Resistance leader. Let's keep an eye on him. His spy is the key to our victory, and he knows it. Get inside the Empire's base and deactivate those blast shields. We'll be waiting for your signal.
Okay. Still so way, way below. Okay. All right. Let's just make sure we're in the right spot here. That's funny. Yeah, the thing is, like, the lore and all that stuff is great, but Lord of the Rings Online, Firesnake, is just so, like, it's so old now. I mean, that's the biggest problem. It's just, it's so OG that it kind of shows its age. And they've been committed to it for a long time, but so much is relying upon that, the lore itself, you know, and that is great lore, and so people are interested in it, then that's a big problem, I think, for them. Because they've never been able to sort of move beyond it, honestly. Interesting. So it says, you're gaining experience points at a reduced rate because I'm not a sub. You're in a rested state and gain double experience. But I'm not a sub, so it doesn't matter. You're currently earning experience at 200% from a server-wise increased experience. Okay. Clearly earning command experience at a bonus of 100%. Okay, so more experience. Yeah, I guess a little bit. A little bit. I guess that's possibly true. What's my inventory look like? Paying like no attention whatsoever to this. Is there a vendor around that I can sell stuff to? Across the way. Let me just sell stuff and then we'll probably wrap up here soon, pretty soon, guys. I didn't want to make a very long stream tonight, since it is a bonus stream anyway. Right, exactly. Oh, yeah, Demiser? How do we play differently? Ah, that's funny. Wait, are you a... I want a vendor. Are you a vendor? Who are you? Are you a vendor?
Okay, this time we'll sneak in through the... Ow! Treat the wound. Don't poke at it like an impatient Jawa.
Sorry, sir. We've got company.
Oh, hello there. I'm, Sergeant Carnes. This here's Private Anlin.
Hi, are you a
Trying
vendor?
to recover some Imperial intel, preferably without getting shot. Again.
What sort of information are you after?
Command sent us to retrieve data recorders from crashed Imperial starships. They contain valuable intel on the Empire's planetary defenses.
This is insane, sir. Why should we keep risking our necks when we have a Jedi right here?
You seem to think these recorders are worth dying for.
It could be the works. Imperial fleet positioning, clearance codes, battery placement? Maybe Anlin's right. That information could help the Republic fleet establish a solid foothold on Balmorra. Bring us one step closer to liberating the planet. Not leaving here without those recorders. But we simply aren't equipped to get past those lunatics. Can you get them?
Sorry.
I'm afraid the galaxy's problems take priority over yours.
I see. Well, third time's the charm, I hope.
Okay, sounds good. See ya. Good luck, but I really need a vendor. I really need a vendor. Do we have a vendor? A vendor. I want to have a vendor.
This place used to crank out top-of-the-line weapons before the war.
Yeah? Does it buy top-of-the-line weapons? Because that's what matters. There's some vendors. Okay. Oh, down. Okay. So I've got to sell a bunch of this stuff. Wait. No. I don't want to start getting into fights. I want to find a vendor. There's no vendor back here? Or is there a vendor down here? Oh, the Third Age. Okay. I don't think I'm familiar with that one. Quick medical droid. Okay. Here, over here, up here. Lovely. Hi.
Your ailments.
Nothing about ailments. I just need to sell this. No use. Sell that. Okay, awesome. Thanks, dude. I'll also repair all my stuff. Thanks.
You are fit for duty. Return to your post.
We'll see about that.
Never a dull moment. We should visit war zones more often. You're not like most Jedi. That's a compliment. Now that's what I call a gift.
Oh yeah? What about this?
Thanks.
My pleasure. Okay. Good. Cool. Merry Christmas, Lego. Final Fantasy X, but Lord of the Rings. You guys just lucky consistently over the course of over the Witcher 3, yeah. Merry Christmas, Lego. And Merry Christmas, everyone. Alright, good. Well, that is in pretty good shape, I think. So, sort of halfway up in the experience chart there. Okay. I still don't entirely remember what we were doing here in the first place. This is what happens when you don't play a game for a long time, but not bad. Not too shabby. I don't know what I mean. Why they would say this is unsafe? Just because I can hear the sound of, you know, bombs booming in the distance. I'm sure it's fine. It's fine. All of these other things, like Knights of the Eternal Throne and all this stuff, is all this other cool stuff to do. But yeah, the grind is definitely a thing. And quit. All right, folks. So that was good. It was fun to get a little bit of playing in while I had a chance to talk about The Last Jedi. So yeah, The Last Jedi, my final word on it is I think it's good. I could imagine myself seeing it again. I thought it was very good. I didn't think it was absolutely overwhelmingly world-alteringly brilliant, but I don't understand the vitriol on both sides. I don't understand... Especially, I don't understand I can understand people really, really liking it, although I don't to that degree. I don't understand how it can be that. I don't get how it can be that, how people can be that down on it. I feel like there's something there that doesn't quite compute for me with that. Because again, I don't think it's brilliant. I don't think it's like unbelievably amazing, but it's just not nearly as bad as some of the claims I think are suggesting that it might be with some folks. So I thought it was pretty good, and I would recommend going to see it. So, but in general, I thought it was pretty solid and it was worth going to see, and I'm glad that I got a chance to see it on Christmas Eve. So that is going to do it for me for now, folks. I should be back on Christmas for my holiday stream with my family that I do every year, but I do want to give everyone a heads up that I don't know when that's going to be. It could well be during the day because we have stuff that we're doing in the evening, so I don't know that I'm going to be streaming at night on Christmas, so it may just be during the day. So you'll have to, if you're following the channel or following Twitter or anything like that, you'll be able to see us there. But otherwise, I'll be back to you guys officially on Tuesday, right around 12 p.m., 12 noon, when I will be playing Phantasy Star 4, as chat has chosen for me. And so that's going to be good. I'm looking forward to trying that out. And then I'm going to be continuing my Vaporum playthrough over on my Pen and Pixel show over at GOG. So those are both worth checking out if you get the chance to stop by here then. But again, hopefully we'll be doing a little bit of a holiday stream later on Christmas. If you haven't done so already, please make sure to follow the stream. Please make sure to check out the YouTube channel with !ArvTube, the Steam group with !Steam group. Obviously, make sure to check out the Discord with !Discord. Check out some merchandise with the shirt, !Arv shop will get you over to that. You can support the Infinity and Beyond crew and myself that way. And the other ways to support the stream are through that, !Arv Treon right there. So you can support us by checking out that. And you can support us as well by subbing to the channel, which currently is discounted. It's 20% off, I believe, if you sub yourself or if you gift a sub to somebody else. We are now up to about 38 or 39 subs, thanks to DM Joey yesterday going crazy and gift subbing a bunch of people. So if you wish to join, get on board and enjoy more conversations of the kind we had tonight, albeit not always about spoiler movie reviews, then you definitely should check that out by hitting that sub button, because I believe it is discounted until the end of the month, so that's the deal with that. But otherwise, I'll be back to you guys, as I say, hopefully later on Christmas, and definitely Tuesday at 12 noon for some Phantasy Star 4, and then Vaporum over at GOG. I want to thank everyone who made this an awesome stream tonight. Thank you to my wonderful mods. Thank you to Dragonspear, Shadow Mage, Demiser, and Lego Freak, and Thorg. And by the way, for Demiser and Lego Freak, make sure you check out the mod channel on Discord, please, because there is something that you will need to be aware of, as well as Shadow Mage. So you need to check those things out too. Thank you to my wonderful subs. Thank you to Dragonspear, to Shadowed Mage again. Thank you to Chloe Rose, J-Rab, and Nonstop. Also, thank you to all my Patreon supporters who were in there as well. So thank you so much. Yeah, sorry, Shatter, but definitely check out that Discord though. Thank you to Axeman, to Darth Lab 1. Thank you to Determinologies. What's up, man? Thank you to ECAG, to Fagwent, to Firesnake Aries. Thank you to God's Tiger. Thank you to Haywood. Haywood, I don't think I've seen you in here before. Also haven't seen Liberty 2017 in here before either. If you like what you saw and heard, I hope you'll follow the channel and support the channel by either the Patreon or subbing to the channel as well. Thank you to Massive Death. What's up? Thank you to Midguardian. Thank you to Optic Nerve, as always. Good to see Optic Nerve. Thank you to Peace and Laughter. Thank you to, let's see, Schwan Power? Schwan Power. Thank you to the power person there. Thank you to Strike Ninja. Thank you to the One Batman. Thank you to Vaxhog with Intent. And of course, thank you to Zerafuse. Thank you so much to everybody. Yeah, Shatter. Sorry, man. I was on for a couple hours, but I didn't want to go super late tonight. So, but thank you, everybody. Merry Christmas to everyone. Happy holidays. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy Festivus. Happy everything, guys. I really, again, much love to you all. And I hope you have a peaceful Christmas day. And I will catch all of you wonderful people. No raid tonight. I will catch all of you wonderful people again tomorrow for my holiday stream. Until I talk to you next time, Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night. Everyone be good to each other. Have a good one. Oh, and of course, may the Force be with you.
Fresh and new, when it all seemed clear to you, when your aim was straight and true. Were your mind untroubled by the questions in the dark, content to play your part, open pathways